Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Deborah. I am a retired marriage and family therapy professor. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm a minister of the Christian faith. I am a inclusion and diversity practitioner, researcher, and consultant. I'm going to share with you the How to Love series. And I'm beginning this talk with race and racism. Race, as we know it, is a divisive term that was constructed, created to privilege one group over another group or all other groups. There are no biological differences between any kind of people, no matter what they look like, their eyes, their hair, their skin tone, color, none of that. Underneath the skin is the same kind of blood, heart, liver, spleen, everything else under the skin is the same. Everything above the skin can be explained by environment. So race as we know it, or as we think of it, is a lie. That's bottom line, it's a lie. Intellectual capacity, anything, all of that is a matter of environment, and environment includes opportunity, it includes uh, lack of opportunities, all of that influences how we are able to do what we do. So having said all of that, then racism is a byproduct of the idea that there exists different kinds of people. It was designed with the intent to disenfranchise some people and name that's race and that's racism. Even though we know that race is a social construction, somebody made it up, created it. If you do your history, there is a point in time when white people started to call themselves white. Before they were just Christian or infidel, Christian or not. So let's make that very clear. Now, we're living in a time where we're having to defend ourselves, and that has been going on ever since Africans came to this continent, were brought over. Uh, I should clarify that. Africans were brought to this continent as slaves because Africans came to this land before Columbus. We were here before Columbus stumbled upon this place he thought was India and called the people who lived here Indians. Given, so do you see where this is going? If you do the work and do the research, you will find that all of this is just a lie. And don't I don't even want to start to make up something, my idea about how is it that the people with less pigmentation who call themselves white would decide that they wanted to pillage the world. That's Tatiana Kosi loves that word. To just take things from people and kill people for those things. That's the history. I am not making that up. I'm not an angry black woman saying that. That is what happened. And that's what continues to happen. But I'm even with all of that and the emphasis that I'm placing on the things that I'm saying, there is a way to there is a way to deal with what's happening to us that does not require anything but a change in how we treat each other. There is a way, and I'm calling it the How to Love way. And quite honestly, I am inviting this Christian, and I put that in quote. Well, no, I don't have to put it in quotes. And let me back up and say why I don't have to put that in quotes. Because Christianity is made up too. Because the person by whom or from whom that this tradition of knowing God was called the Christ or the Anointed One. And that person, who most likely is a man of color, let me just say that, um, was not trying to start a religion. He, as a matter of fact, has been his whole 3 years of ministry fighting the religious establishment. I'm using that person. And I think Nika said, "Who is that black dude? Look like a troublemaker to me." Nika Giovanni, quoting her from one of her poems. But that's not what he was trying to do. He was trying to start a revolution, but not the one that ended up being used to oppress people around the world. As you hear me say these things, Do your own homework, and do a good job, because if you listen to the colonizers, the slavers, you will get a different story than if you listen to somebody who's been oppressed and who's have of African descent, or who's of color, or who's about truth. Because that doesn't mean that all the colonizers are liars and all the Africans and brown people are saviors, but it does mean we have a history of our relationships with people who call themselves white has not been positive around the world. And I'd have to acknowledge some of those same people that call themselves Christians, and that's why I backed up on that Christian comment I made earlier, because they were not being the kinds of people that they purported to be. Racism, race, social constructions, but there is a way. There is a way that we can do this, and how to love is that way. So as I continue this, I want to make sense of how my proposal can be one piece of the puzzle of changing how we relate to each other around these ideas of race and racism, but more importantly, how we relate to each other as, let's say, as humankind.